Hi guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the HiFiMan RE800 Silver. Now these earphones can be found for around $600 on HiFiMan's website, and that equates to around £500. Now at that range, I found that these would compete with the Sennheiser IE800s, now not the 800Ss or what have you, the IE800s which I reviewed back in 2015. Links to my review, links to HiFiMan's website, and any UK or US buy links that I found for the RE800s, I'll be sure to include them in the description below. Just bear in mind these are the silver variants, not the gold variants. The gold variants have a slightly different sound signature, a little warmer sound signature, so just bear that in mind. This is the silver model. I was very much intrigued to see how the RE800 would compare to its flagship brother, which cost about 2 times the price. So without further ado, let's go into the review. So first let's talk about the package contents inside the RE800s. So obviously you've got the earphones themselves. They come with dual flank or mini dual flank tips included, silicone tips. We'll get into the build and design quality of those quite quickly. You've got ear hooks, plastic ear hooks, useful for if you want to go jogging. You've got a nice selection of silicone tips, which is somewhat curious that HiFiMan choose to include more tips in the RE800 model than they include on the more flagship RE2000s, but nevertheless you get a nice selection of tips, dual flang, triple flang, and just single silicone tips. The only thing missing, I would say, would be foam tips. There's no foam tips included whatsoever. It would be nice to see Comply foam tips included, or whatever you have. There's a small hard carrying case as well included. Very nice for portability, no complaints. I would have liked a soft carrying pouch to go alongside with it. Now the earphones themselves are terminated by a single 3.5mm jack input. It's a non-removable cable, which to me is slightly a shame, because at this price I would really expect a bit more sort of options when it comes to having cables. In other words, given that this is a mobile sort of product, I would have liked a microphone. And I understand that, you know, audiophiles will be using a DAC or a DAP or something like that, but nevertheless I would have just liked a little bit better. As you saw there, it's a bit of a struggle to untangle these, and yes, they do get tangled. The cable isn't of the best of quality. It's okay, but you know, it can get a little bit frustrating, as you saw there. The cable kinch itself is very nice. It extends very quickly and very nicely. Very small thing to add, but as I said, there's no inline mic or a right-angled jack, which is something I would have preferred when plugging into a mobile phone. Now, in terms of the earphones themselves, non-removable design, and also I'm not a big fan of the right and left indicator. It's very faint and very hard to see. The camera's probably not even going to pick it up. It's on the side over here. When I was at night and I was put those on, and at night now in the UK it gets dark at around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and it's just very hard to understand which one's right and which one's left. There's no other way of figuring out the directions. I think HiFiMan could have done better in terms of having a sort of a left and right indicator, or kind of like a different color coordination, let's say green, blue and red. Other than that, the actual earphones themselves look quite nice. They look pretty premium looking. If I get the tips up, you'll be able to see that the nozzle looks nice, and the design of the earphones is pretty cool. I have no complaints in terms of that. I think they've done a great job in terms of the whole housing and the design and look. Now in terms of microphonics, aka cable noise, I must say I was pretty disappointed, as there is cable noise when these are worn straight down. However, given the fact that the way they're designed, you can wear them over the ear as well, which is great because it pretty much eliminates all sort of noise altogether. You can also put the ear hooks on, which will also reduce the microphonics, but I was just a little bit disappointed given the fact that this is a £500 or $600 earphone. I would have just liked a slightly better quality cable, one that doesn't at least have a lot of noise, and one that is removable. On the plus side, over the IE800s, it is a lot better in terms of design. The IE800s were a complete disaster when it came to cable design. So now let's go into the sound quality. So this is the most important part of the review. Now before getting into it, I want to touch on 2 points. First of all is isolation, which I should have covered before, but in terms of isolation, these are not going to provide you great isolation. I would suggest foam tips for better isolation, but simply due to the sheer size of the earphones themselves, the housing, you're not going to get that much passive noise isolation. So do bear that in mind. If you're going to be using them for commutes like I did, you'll find that you're kind of struggling to block out external noise. Now, in terms of driving them, I tried a variety of different things. Tried them directly on my phone, which is the OnePlus 5T. I tried them connected via Bluetooth to the iFi X DSD, very good DAC, and then also at home with the Cord Yugo 2, which is just down there. Now, the reason I tried different sources, and also the Audio Engine D1s, which I forgot that was at work, the reason I tried different sources is to see how they would pair. And I must say, they paired really well with the Yugo 2, and also paired really well with the D1s. Just like the RE2000s, just like their older brothers, they didn't really pair that well with the XDSD. They sound a little bit too sibilant to my ears, and straight through the phone, they kind of just lack that sort of energy that you'd want. So pairing is definitely important. I would definitely suggest investing in a good DAC or a DAP or whatever you would like to use. Now, in terms of the sound quality, I must say, I was very impressed. Now, I was very impressed with their older brother, the RE2000s. However, these ones were almost like a cheap man's RE2000s. They didn't provide the same sort of soundstage, the width and depth that you got, the very nice forward mids and kind of like not flat but a neutral sound signature that you got, and the great extension. But because they're using the Dipology, or I think it's how you say it, Dipology diaphragm, and using dynamic drivers, I think 9.2mm dynamic drivers, they do deliver a very exciting and yet interesting sound. So starting with the sub bass, you've got a decent sub bass extension. It does extend relatively well, though it does cut off. So when you're comparing it to custom made earphones, or I'm comparing it to the RE2000s, I feel there's a slight roll off or cut off, should I say, on the sub bass region. The mid bass is very impressive. You've got a very tight yet controlled slam, which is something that you really would like, and these RE800s really do deliver in that respect. The mids are slightly recessed, and the reason I'm saying slightly recessed is because when I'm comparing them to the Sennheiser IE800s, or I'm comparing them to the RE2000s, which are I know double the price, but is worthy for a comparison because it's in HiFiMan's range, it does sound a slightly pushed back. It's not to say it's a bad thing, because you get a more like fun sound signature and a little warmer sound signature, and you got that also with the RE2000s as well, the RE2000 Silver, shall I say, but it is a little bit more obvious with the RE800s. Now, the upper mids, I would say, are very strong, very prominent. You do hear them, and even though they might be slightly dipped, you do hear a very nice presence. So when it comes to vocal tracks, or even just listening to classical music, these do really well. I've really felt that they excelled when it came to EDM music. And the reason behind that is because of the highs. The highs extend really well, get great sparkle, and yet they're not sibilant. You've got a nice little sparkle at the top end, and you're not going to be hurt, your ears are not going to be hurt when you're listening to them. The soundstage, again, is very impressive for these earphones. Pretty much equivalent to the Sennheiser IE800s. They've got a nice sort of width and depth to them. The instrument separation is fantastic. I would say the RE800s have got better instrument separation than the Sennheisers. I don't know how they've done it in such a small shell, but it's absolutely incredible, and it's something that I noted on the RE2000s, and it's very much the case with the RE800s. However, as I mentioned before, it's not going to sound as wide or as deep, and that could be due to the housing, because these are much smaller and a smaller sort of space for the sound to move. It could be to do with that, but nevertheless, it's just something to note. Overall, I must say that the sound quality and just the overall presentation of the earphones is very impressive. I must say, if I had to pick between these and the Sennheiser IE800s, I would really be kind of torn. It depends in terms of the type of music. I mean, for me, I listen to dance and R&B, EDM music, house music, and for me, these earphones are the ones I'd pick, simply because the IE800s, as in Sennheiser's models, are a little bit more mid-centric, so you get better vocal tracks. So if you're going to listen to classical music or opera or something like that, I think you'll get a better, more accurate sort of sound via the IE800s. However, if you want a little bit more funner sound, and you want something that can hit deep, but yet give a very nice and accurate sound throughout the frequency range, the RE800s do a fantastic job. So I must say, what HiFiMan have done over here is very, very impressive, and I would definitely recommend them for anyone looking for a cheaper man's RE2000s. Now, in my HiFiMan RE2000 review, I did deem them as one of the best universal, if not the best universal earphones I have heard to date. And I've heard over 100 to 150 different earphones and headphones. So I must say, these RE800s are almost like the cheap man's version. If you can't afford that, but you want the same sort of sound signature, you want a great overall capabilities, and also you want a decent design and one which is relatively small, then these are very should be very at the top of your buying list, a wish list, or whatever you want to say. So there we go, guys. That's pretty much been it. I must say I'd recommend them. Check in the links in the description below if you want to purchase them, or if you've got any buy links that you might find that I haven't linked down. Always a help, because I can only look so much. In the comments below, ask me any questions you might have. I'll reply to them. I'll read them. Yeah, whatever it might be, from comparisons to my opinions, or if you want me to expand on a certain point. And more than anything, I'll really appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, favorite, and share, as it always helps the channel grow and the video to be viewed by a lot more people. So there we go, guys. I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care, and bye-bye.